you haven't had the pleasure of the balls drop.
There's a Happy New Year! Welcome to Britpops React.
Got that out, all right? Did you?
I did just about BP1 and BP2.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 31st of December 2024.
It is.
And we're doing 4 ways that British and American New Year's are very different. I'm not sure how they can be too different.
Right.
But our mate Lawrence, who we've done a few times from Lost in the Pond, will let us know since he's been living out there in the US. New Year's Eve, mate, what are you doing? Anything?
Don't really do much these times. Yeah, if I can make it that far. I see he's got a little cheeky glass of bubbly there. It's got less and less over, as I've got older. I mean, it used to be the big thing, didn't it, back in the day with the lads out on New Year's Eve at some party or other, living it large. Now, generally, it gets down to Jules Holland's Hootenanny.
Right, yeah, you get creature comforts now.
Yeah, stay in with a bit of Jules Holland, counting down the time on there, and that's it. Maybe flick on what's the firework displays.
Yeah, it's always a good firework display in London, isn't there, on the old London Eye and everything. Yeah,
cheeky little Prosecco. It's great watching sort of, Australia going first and then all the countries sort of doing theirs as you go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, big thing, obviously, we sort of relate America to is Times Square and their sort of countdown.
That's right.
So let's see what Lawrence is going to regale us with this time and find out what's completely different.
Let's do it.
Hello and Happy New Year to all of the good people out there, plus Uncle Toby. I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to the New Year.
All right.
Yeah, to cut that.
And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, Lawrence, I thought you gave up alcohol. I did. This is sparkling water. Anyway, when I first moved to the United States, my first New Year celebration didn't seem much different to those that I experienced back in Britain. But then, as the years went on, I started to notice that I'd been completely and utterly a little bit incorrect. Because while both countries do the countdown to midnight and drink and indulge in fireworks, the way we do these things, as well as other traditions, does differ on either side of the pond. And if you've somehow gone the whole of 2023 without subscribing to this channel, do that now.
That's 2023.
In the meantime, here off.
I will say as well while we're here, do subscribe to us at Britpops React as well. Obviously, Lawrence's channel, Lost in the Pond. If you like Lawrence's videos, go check him out as well. But we appreciate a like on our video as you're watching us. We always see a bit of Gogglebox, don't we? You can watch something, but you like to watch other people watching something because it feels
that
like
voyeurism bit, isn't it? It's seeing what. Oh, hello.
What do they think? Are they thinking the same as me, or am I just as mad as they are, or whatever? So I do like watching along with. It's one of my favourite programs, Gogglebox. So
Gogglebox, good TV. All right, let's go.
Let's keep going, Lawrence.
4 ways that British and American New Year is very different.
All right.
The first of these is the ways in which both countries try to engineer good luck going into the new year. What do I mean by that? Well, for some answers, I'm going to hand you off to YouTube sensation Lawrence Brown, who is me. In Scotland, and by extension parts of northern England, there's a tradition called first footing, in which the first person to enter a home on January 1st brings good luck for the rest of the year. Now, this doesn't include burglars. We're talking about family members or friends of the people who live in the house. And it's not always true, because for me, last January 1st, the first person to enter my house was Chainsaw Jim, who subsequently stole my fence. But it is a tradition that plays a big role in the Scottish Hogmanay traditions. In the US, specifically in the South, the biggest good luck charm is the black-eyed peas. Just black-eyed peas, not the band, food. Consumption of the black-eyed pea dish, Hoppin' John, on New Year's Day is seen as a harbinger of good luck for the year ahead, unless it's me doing the cooking.
Right. Okay.
So just on that, before he goes off on another one, so there is good luck. Obviously, you just mentioned that for Scotland.
Yep.
Here in the south, or Britain, where we are, in England, for us, the good luck is we tend to open the front door and we open the back door at the same time, because you're letting out the bad of 2024
Get rid of that.
and all the rubbish.
Add enough of that one.
And in comes the new 2025. So that's something we do about midnight. You go outside, maybe say Happy New Year to your neighbours or whatever, but the front door opens and the back door opens, just as a bit of tradition, really. Letting out the old, rolling in the new. Whether it'll cover that, I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was just...
that's probably why every year mine has been totally crap, because I ain't got a back door.
Maybe just open the window.
I just got the bad luck. The old one building up and the new one coming in. No wonder it's so small in this place.
There's no room. It's full of bad luck. There you go.
You would not believe how much of an impact time zones can have on one's New Year celebrations. Firstly, growing up in Britain, I and the rest of the country were on the exact same time zone. So all of our celebrations were in perfect unison. It never occurred to me that there are countries around the world where this is not the case. And one of those countries is the United States. Now, when I lived in Indianapolis, this wasn't really a problem. And that's because I was on Eastern Standard Time, which is the same time zone as Times Square. There's a lot of time involved. But then I moved to Chicago, and I was suddenly 1 hour behind New York. From then on, watching Dick Clark's Rocking New Year's Eve felt weird, because I was celebrating something that wouldn't happen for an hour yet. And then I considered that in addition to those 2 time zones, there are 4 more. Mountain, 2 hours behind New York. Pacific, 3 hours behind. Alaska Aleutian, 4 hours behind. And Hawaii, 5 hours. All that said, I'm going to let you in on a little secret that I discovered this week. If you extend this to include American territories, as well as British territories, both have exactly 9 time zones apiece. So in that respect, you could say that we're not so different, you and I. I swear I'm not drunk. And then there's the countdown itself, and in Britain, all eyes turn to the Elizabeth Tower, or as it's known to purists, Big Ben. And even those purists will be quick to point out that traditionally Big Ben was the name of the bell and not the tower, but I digress.
Okay.
In hindsight, I suppose it's weirdly logical to count down to the new year by staring at one of the world's most famous clocks. And for me, the sound of Big Ben's gong, which I promise isn't rude in any way, will forever be synonymous with the passing of one year to the other. Yeah. In America, we watch a ball drop. And again, that's not dirty. And that's because the ball in question is massive and made out of crystal. And instead of taking place in the country's capital city, which probably wouldn't allow buildings of this height, the ball is dropped in New York. And I don't really know what happens once the ball reaches its final destination. Does it smash into a million pieces? Because that would mirror the fate of most of my champagne glasses.
I don't think I've seen this ball drop.
Ball drop in Times Square,
Well, I know it's Times Square, and I know that's sort of like, but I've never really paid any attention to it. It just flashes up on the news. Oh, there's celebrations around the world. You see the Sydney Bridge and all that lot. Times Square, woo! But this ball dropping malarkey, I'm not sure I've seen this.
You haven't had the ball drop?
There's a vague part of my brain that can see this big shiny ball out there. So I've seen references to it, but I don't think I've actually sat and watched
sat down and watched
the
it.
10-second countdown, ball drop.
Okay,
off we go, like malarkey. You
cheeky, yeah.
Actually, I'm just hearing from an article that I read online that it does not smash; it comes to a rest. Which on the one hand is good, but on the other doesn't make for such a resting television. Old Lang Syne. Is there any song out there more synonymous with the new year? Happy New Year by ABBA. And at this point you might be thinking, Lawrence, I know for a fact that Old Lang Syne is sung in both Britain and America, so what's going on? You see, this song became synonymous with the new year in both countries at different times and for different reasons. In fact, the song's lyrics were the work of renowned Scottish poet Robert Burns, who, while adopting an existing traditional tune, came up with the piece in 1788. And shortly thereafter, 2 things happened with this song. Firstly, it became associated with Scottish New Year celebrations. And secondly, it would shortly do the same in the rest of Britain. And at this time, you may or may not know that Britain was forming a colonial empire. And the tradition spread to many of its colonies. But absent from that list was the United States. This perhaps owes a lot to the fact that by then, the United States had become the first country to gain independence from the British. And from the 19th century, was forming holiday traditions of its own. So then when did Old Lang Syne take off here? And the answer is easy. The 20th century. Because it was popularised here not by a Scotsman or an Englishman, but another perfectly good setup for a joke, a Canadian. Band leader Guy Lombardo, presumably familiar with the Scottish tradition, performed the song every New Year's Eve Eve with his band, the Royal Canadians. Broadcast to a North American audience every year from the late 1920s to the 1970s. And it's been a New Year staple here ever since.
Wow. Okay, so it's not actually not that long then in the US compared to
20th century. Yeah, I guess with, like you say, with the the popularization of broadcasting, it picked up there.
But you can't say it didn't come from. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, Mr. Burns wrote that. So
yes,
it's tradition. Ever since I was a wee nipper.
That's it. Yeah, there with Aunt Doris and Granny Flo all sort of holding hands and singing that.
That's it.
If
Spoons on the floor.
Yes. All right. Okay, that's 3.
Well, that's 4. No, that's 4. It's all 4, wasn't it? Yeah.
And on that note, pun intended, I'm all out of water. So I'm going to go and refill and count in the new year, which at the time of this video isn't until tomorrow, but just pretend that it is today. Thank you to all of you for another record-breaking year at Lost in the Pond. If you don't know what I'm talking about...
There you go. That was the 4.
Yes. I always feel like, obviously, the Scots tend to sort of play it up more than we do with Burns, Knight, Hogmanay.
Yeah.
Pipers and drummers, bagpipers and that, playing it in. Then you got the sort of ceremonial haggis. So they tend to sort of do it a bit more than we do, don't they? I think we just
they
found
got more traditions. I think the Scots.
Yeah, good excuse to go out and get lashed up, really.
Yeah. I don't know what we're doing. I suppose it'd be tonight, won't it? So I think we're going to be. We might go to the local bar just for a couple of drinks.
All right.
Just for a bit of atmosphere and then come back.
Yeah. I mean, we tend to see the sort of fireworks down on the seafront. They do that from here. But no, I'll probably see if a bit of Jules Holland, see if he's got on.
See if he's got on.
Good,
some good ones and some bad ones normally. All right. What am I going to say? I was going to say have a wonderful Happy New Year. Let us know in the comments what do you do? What's your
any traditions
thing that you do on New Year's Eve?
Yeah. Family traditions, country traditions. Pop them in the comments and we'll have a look through. But thank you and Happy New Year 2025. Hope it's better than the last one.
Indeed. See you later. That's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from him. Ta-ra now. Bye.